What's up, guys? I am bringing you a video, hopefully, with a little bit better quality than what I had last time. It's not going down and it's not changing. It is what it is. Accept it. Hopefully, the volume's good too. Let's go. Hopefully, it's not too much. Let's roll into this. Today, I have two matches. I just played in a little paid tournament for Ghost Stardust. I was winning would have been nice, but I'm actually just going in with the intent to test, right? I'm hoping to get into a couple big tournaments testing for Nats and things like that. So let me just show my hand and let me go ahead and hit the fast forward button. The first game here, I don't even want to look at this game. It's a Lightsworn match. And basically just how the game goes is one of those things where I don't even know why I showed up to the table. You know how Lightsworn gets, right? Here he is Raikou, gets some mills, does some things. And here's an interesting card. And I guess this was good to learn because for the matchup. And it's pretty important here, in my opinion. Um, am I getting kicked out of DB? What's going on? Huh. Did DB freeze? There we go. That took a long time. Lagged real hard. So basically what happened was I summoned in a Questie and I attacked. Turns out he has an Arcus, and if you see, I drew nothing but targeting spells traps. And Arcus's 1800 defense isn't too much of a problem because I do have Liquori here. But he does have the DD Crow, right? So that's unfortunate. He does have the DD Crow into a Chaos Sorcerer, banish my Liquori. I do have a play here. That's pretty good. Where I just go ahead, I book the Sork. I can Darius because I do want the Darius in deck. I kind of want to. Here I'm thinking if I can set up some kind of Darius Bestiary play, that might be best. Maybe I should have put back Sam Knight just because I'm only on one Sam Knight at the moment for Rescue Cat. But again, it's just interesting this how good this Arcus ended up being for him and how much I had to play around. Unfortunately, with his mills, he mills to exactly 3 darks, hits the Dark Arm Dragon. It's okay because I think I end up compulsing it here. So we are still in the game. We're able to go a little bit longer. He switches this to attack, which maybe I can read the honest, but unfortunately in this situation, I can't play around. I have to go for it. We kill that, we tag out, and what do I actually go into here? My best area is gone. Yeah, so I think doing this put him off 4 Lightsworn names, yeah. And here I have to compulse. I have to, just in case it's a Raikou, that's what I'm thinking. It's a Necrogardna, so obviously it doesn't matter, but he's already so far up in cards, I have to compulse and just hope that was a Raikou, and hopefully the rest of his hand just kind of turns off. But he had the Monster Reincarnation. If I'm looking at his hand, see, it it didn't matter, right? I could have compulsed this, I guess. If I didn't do anything, I was risking a Raikou, which maybe I should have because one of the Raikou's already gone. Um, but no matter what, he's getting off a Monster Reincarnation. Getting his Lila. I could have compulsed a Lila and then swung over the Raikou next turn, which possibly could have played out my favorite, but at the end of the day, I don't think that I have any out to this Lila. And his hand just was too good, especially after this mill. There's no way I stop in the mill, especially after I top Heavy Storm. Not a great card for me to top, but a great card for my opponents to top, as we will see in the coming game. So maybe I could have waited. I took a snap call in that compulse, and I went for it. Here, a little bit of monster heavy hand. I am on a different build that's not significantly different, but a little bit different the from my Nats, or not Nats, my YCS Indie build. I do like sitting Liquori turn 1 with Prisma just to set it up, and then if there's some way I can keep Prisma on board, which, not many decks can go summon 3+ monsters in one turn, but if you saw, he milled a Lila and a Wolf. Lightsworn is one of those decks that they can just get there. I can go ahead and hide his hand. I'm not sure it matters that much. So here's what I'm looking at. It's pretty unfortunate. He has a Cyber Dragon, mills the Lila and the Wolf against my set card. But I like setting up an early play with Liquori so that way later on I can just go into like a Darius Zaris play or something like that. And the next turn, if Prisma lives, it sets up Bestie play. which goes into Gyzaris, leaving the Bestiary and the Liquori in the grave, which means after I Gyzaris tag, I can add the Bestiary back to my hand. The Darius gets summoned with a Quarry, and then I can go into Herc with multiple cards in hand. Unfortunately, as we saw his card and his mill, that's not how this plays out. So he does get the Lumina. He gets his Wolf, obviously. Summons the Lumina, and uses the Lumina, get the Lila. And just normal play here. Uses the Lila, destroys the card. And here I do chain this Book of Moon. I go ahead and I target the Lumina because I don't want him, no matter what Prisma's gone, I'll take the damage. I don't want him to get the mills. Basically, what I'm looking at his win condition here is, you see my hand, I have the Rescue Cat, I have access to the Sam Knight. So unless I top deck Sam Knight or Secutor, right, because I'm on one Sam Knight again. So unless I top deck exactly one of those two cards, I have a really big play next turn. So his only win con, I guess live con rather, here's going to be milling a Necrogarda. So as long as he doesn't mill Necrogarda, his turn was insane, but that's okay. I'm not expecting him to set any kind of real back rows because it's Lightsworn, and not only is it Lightsworn, it is Twilight Sworn. So, you know, we saw the crows. I kind of looks like maybe he sided out some of the crows and things like that is what I'm thinking for game 2, but I don't think he can side in too much stuff. So I do make that Secutor play. Swing over the Lila, which allows me to go up to Bestiary and Murmillo. The Murmillo destroys, I guess, Wolf, and then I fuse Murmillo Bestiary to destroy the other two, set the War Chariot, and I feel like this sets me up pretty good for the rest of the game. If Secutor lives a turn, then that's why I fuse with the other two, because if Secutor wins turn, I pop off. Now, he does have the Monster Incarnation again, and he is going to be able to summon the JD because he has multiple cards. I think his Heavy Storm was gone. Did he use it? No, that might have been, that was last game I had Heavy Storm, so he just goes summon JD, and his other cards are not terrible. He has the Pot of Avarice, which, good for him. Good for him, honestly. But I have the Ancient Force, so outside of basically exactly JD, I'm not really worried about anything. And he says Big Think here, and I'm not sure what else he had in hand. I guess he could have Monster Reincarnation to bring back Honest, which puts Plague in the graveyard. No, I think he just made the right play. He swings over the Secutor, and it doesn't matter, because I think next turn I think it's either this turn or the next turn he just ends up conceding, because he draws Caius. That's what it was. Yeah, he draws the Caius. He randomly draws next card. I don't know what it was. But I do some cycling, and I go out to War Chariot, and I end up on... Do I go on the Herc here? I think I go Rediary, Darius, get back Liquori, end up on Herc with set Chariot. I do set the Torrent in case he does have a JD. I do have access to Torrent and this in case he has 2 JD summons or something. So I see what he's going to target. It's Cyber Dragon. I don't want him to make a Black Rose play. And I'm thinking he only had 2 cards in hand, so if he wants to use his Plague, he has to use another card. Yeah, he knew what was coming. And then game 3, we'll watch game 3. It's Lightsworn, right? I draw not a terrible hand. All it takes is 1 GB to turn this on. He immediately mills the Gareth, mills the Plague, mills the Wolf, and his field is stacked. I don't hit anything particularly good, but I think I can get off a good Torrent here. But he has the Heavy Storm. Maybe I shouldn't have set that, but the problem is, and you'll see it next turn, he actually has game this turn. If he stacks for Plague, synchros with Lumina, and goes into Magical Android, he has game. So I don't know if he didn't see that. It doesn't matter, because he has 4 Lightsworn names to my 3 cards, and that's unfortunate, right? So he just mills 2 names, because why not? And actually, I'm still in the game. I'm still in a pretty good spot here. I have the Book of Moon. I have the Test Tiger. So all I actually need here off the top is a Gladiator Beast name, and then I can make another really big Secutor play. I can go do the same Murmillo Gyzaris, pop his field afterwards, and then set the Dust Tornado. It's not the best, right? I'm sitting on Gyzaris Dust Tornado to his, like 4 cards. Alternatively, I think instead of Murmillo, let him keep the Wolf, and then actually go out into the Equesti to get back War Chariots. That way I have Dust Tornado, War Chariot, and the guy's Zaris, and the only thing he would have is Wolf. And what does he have in hand? He has the Chaos Sorcerer. He has Chaos Sork. It's live. He has Plague. He has Monster Incarnation. It didn't matter, right? It didn't matter. I drew on my body as a shield, which I decided in. So I got Lightsworn out of that game, unfortunately. So let's go look at the other replay here. And this one's actually, I learned a lot from this other replay. Wherever it's at. Dual records, and it's against Frogs. And a lot of people just think Frogs is a free win. It's not. Frogs is absolutely not free. Frogs is tough. And you will see some of my new side deck tech that I'm working on. There's a few cards I want to work with. Like I said, I think my deck is a little bit, I like it a little bit more. It's a little bit closer to where I want it to be. And I think I end up going first this game, which I find a lot of my games are predicated entirely on who goes first is the winner of the game, regardless of who's playing. So my hand's pretty good. I set the Solemn. I don't know what he's on, but I think just setting, I'll let him do whatever play he wants. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. As long as he just ends with, I guess, like one backer or whatever, I can just Solemn his play next turn, make a huge Secutor push, and end on multiple GBs with a Deep Prison or two set. Just depends how I'm feeling, right? So he is just on Frogs and actually was incredible in my favor. So this game kind of spirals out of control for him. And again, I'm on not a lot of monsters. I think I'm on 18 monsters to include like the Test Tiger, the Gores, and I'm still on Reaper. But I've been like hard drawing a lot of GB names. But here he does have the Heavy Storm. Unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest. He does have to go after the Liquori because Liquori does threaten Heraclinos next turn. And just from that, I'm guessing his hand is Heraclinos weak. And if we look, it's Heraclinos weak. It is. So he can't out Heraclinos. He has to get rid of the Liquori. I do have the Book of Moon, so he thumbs up, so I Book of Moon, but I guess he misclicks. Whatever. We're playing for a Ghost Artist, but I'm not trying to be that guy. If this were like a real tournament, I guess, this is kind of a real tournament, but I'm not trying to shark someone. If this were YCS Indy, I'd say, hey man, I don't know about that. But he does attack, and he knows I have the Book of Moon, so obviously he's just setting up the Miracle Fusion. This kind of works my favor because my other card is Deep Prison, and his Heavy Storm's going. Actually, both his cards are Miracle Fusion. I think he just scoops there. Because, yeah, I'm just going to banish a lot of stuff. And this just happened, and I already don't remember this game. My hand's looking pretty good, but actually I do want to show his hand. And you don't really see it right. His hand's really good. First off, his hand's just tremendously good. He has the Braincon, Substitute, Caius, Alias. Basically, all four of these cards are just like anti-GB. And then anti-GB. He has the anti-GB tech. But my hand's pretty good too, right? I definitely have a lot of plays. What was I thinking here? The Murmillo's in hand. So obviously I wanted to make a Murmillo play, but I can't. What I'm hoping here, and I only set the Compulse, what I'm hoping here is either this is a Raigeki break, and he just Raigeki breaks this, discarding a card, which is fine, because then my field's open for Gores. The reason I don't set the Prison is because if that is a Raigeki break, I want to keep the Prison to try to banish the Alias. You just want to banish the heroes, right? So that's why I set the Compulse. If he does summon another monster, or even a Monarch in this case, if he somehow, for some reason, hacks for a Monarch, the Compulse is better. The Compulse is actually also better in this case if he tries to sub-block with Alias. And if he summons a monster and just attacks with both, I can Compulse one and then drop the Gores. And then because he already normal summoned, the Gores is basically protected for that turn. But you see he drew Soul Exchange. So my hand looks good. Unfortunately, again, I did draw the one of Murmillo, which a little tough. And he didn't play into my Compulse at all. He just attacked. So here I do set the Prison, and it goes off. Yeah, so it works out. But he does sub. And you see his field is just quickly getting better. I drew into another GB name, which again I'm on 22 spells and traps, 18 monsters. But of those 18 monsters, 12 of them, I think, are GBs. So I'm just like heavy drawing GB right now, which not a big problem. He does Deep Prison. I do take this opportunity to get the Compulse off my board, and I want to keep the Murmillo in circulation. Murmillo in this matchup is one out, I guess, to absolute zero. It's not a great out because it usually requires like the use of Test Tiger, but it is an out. And this also just clears up my board. So I do get to keep the GB, and it clears up my board. I think is the right play. And here I am able to go for the Gores, but again, now we can see his hand, and I was never winning this game. This is the point where we can just kind of accept I was never winning this game. He activates the T-Roar, and I do want to just go ahead and set up that War Chariot play, but again, he has the brain control. He has the brain control play, and then the Caius to banish the Chariot. And I think I draw into another Chariot here sometime soon. Again, I couldn't go Cat because I had to go into the Murmillo, and then he has the Gores. So I do go into Ready Area just to try to get something out of the game, right? And then he has a Soul Exchange, so I do get the Cat off, which allows me to go into the Murmillo because I just tacked it back. I'm able to swing. He does, and I draw him to War Chariot. It's good. It's really good. It would have been really good, but as we see again, he has Soul Exchange. He has Soul Exchange, so I do go into the Quarry because his deck just doesn't have anything. He has to have access to a hero plus Miracle Fusion, so it would have worked, but Soul Exchange. And then Caius, again, targeting that, and I just draw into second. Why not? Because why not, right? Game 3 is where I get some good lessons out of this. I do get some good lessons. The hand, again, GB heavy. I don't know. It seems every time I play against some frog deck, like, I'm not just saying this. This has happened multiple times. I hard draw into both my Ready Area, which is unfortunate, but it happens. And I actually just set the bestiary here. So what I'm thinking here, very rarely are Frog Monarchs going to go for a turn 1 Caius or even have access. You have to have a lot of things go right. And if you do go turn 1 Caius, you're dropping, what, like 3 cards at least for the swap discard, the swap, and then the Caius itself. And then even if he does, I can just deprison it. So I'm not totally worried about it. I'm just expecting him to normal summon and swing or just like do a set pass. He does just set and pass, actually, just back row. And I don't fuse Nagazaurus because I didn't want it to be a T-Roar. I wanted to keep the set bestiary and make him think it might have been like Hoplamus or something. Who knows? But this attack does go through. I get into a Laquari, and I think I set the deprison. MSTs, which is fine. And then he goes through his whole play, which again is great. Here is my learning opportunity. I have this Bestiary Gazaris play set up, and I just, another hard-drawn Gladiator Beast. It's fine. I destroy both of them. I should have only destroyed one. I didn't play around Battle Fader. I didn't even think Fader. I'm not sure if he even showed Fader earlier, but I should know because the YCS Indie winning list played exactly one copy of Fader. And it's not like I was contemplating, hey, let's just risk the Fader. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. So had I just destroyed one with Gazaris, swung into the other, banished the Treeborn Frog, and gone into a Questy or whatever, I'm not saying it would have won me the game, but I would have been in a significantly better situation, especially with this DD Crow and Test Tiger in hand, right? I don't do that, and I actually just end up going directly into Battle Fader, which is rough. He gets back both Swap Frogs, gets into Battle Fader, which obviously then sets up the Ryza, which is not great. I'm at 2400. I let this attack go through. I know he's going to swap bounce, but at the end of the day, I do have access to the Ready Area to be able to get off an attack to kind of alleviate some plays, I guess. So between the Ready Area, because I can just Tiger Ready Area into Secutor. I don't do that. I actually just attack. He does have the War. And then I go ahead and I set the Torrent, which Torrent, a really good card. I actually did main deck the Torrent because in a very similar situation just like this, I found I was having a lot of problems, again, against like frogs, just because I couldn't get rid of certain fields such as this. So Torrent, I sided in a lot, and it has played very well. And here I just hit him with the Torrent, and I'm super far ahead. But you'll see this card. Card destruction, dude. Card destruction. The game is mine, and then he just has card destruction, is basically what happens. He draws back-to-back Caius, which is also really good. Luckily, I draw back-to-back Bottomless, which is also really good. So it's not too big of a deal. I go a few turns without a GB, but here I am able to go into the Secutor. A Rediari is in the grave, so I can't go double Rediari off of this. It doesn't matter because a lot of his tributes are gone, but I do have the DD Crow. in hand to just kind of play against something. So I do Radiary, go into these two, get back Lakori just against, I guess, like a defense. And I set the prison. I do Crow here, so Crow I do side deck still. It's so good in combination with Radiary, specifically for situations like this. It just makes them so much more difficult. And if you see his hand, it's just a bunch of normal summons. I've won. The game is over. I have won the game. He has just a bunch of normal summons and a card destruction. What's he going to do? I've won. The game's over. Well, he has to card destruction. Are you kidding me? I'm not sure what I could have done different. I do deprison it just to, I guess, get it out of play. It doesn't matter. So I don't know. I don't even know what I'm thinking anymore. I don't, I sided in the Falsadana to stop a lot of his special summons. So I've turned off his Miracle Fusions. I deprison because my thought here is he has more Miracle Fusions. It's still live because obviously he has this. But I have Falsadana, so it's okay. It's okay, but he does have Mirror Force. I summon Prisma and I attack. He doesn't Mirror Force. And I know it's because he has like a couple cards in hand. He can, it's fine. And I make a huge misplay this following turn. He just passes. I should have, again, just thoughtless play on my part. I didn't think about Mirror Force. I've seen Threatening Roar so many times in this match. Fossil should be defense. It should be. It absolutely should be. So he Mirror Forces, and I get smoked by it. Fossil should be in defense, and Fossil saves me. If Fossil is in defense, he doesn't make any more plays, and I don't think I can view his deck, but I'm not sure it matters. But luckily, I still have this Compulse, so I have at least 2 more turns, and all I need is a GB. It's all I need is a GB just to get back into the game. Deprison could stop him, I guess, but all I need is GB, and I do draw it. I do draw it, but he has the Deprison. Oh, unfortunate. But I still have the Compulse. I still have the Compulse, so I still have another turn, but he gets the Heavy Storm. He gets the Heavy Storm. And that's the game. It shouldn't have mattered because, again, I made a bad misplay with the Falsadana. But this game, unlike the Lightsworn game, I learned a couple things, actually. In the Lightsworn game, I learned just, even if for GB, how difficult Arcus is to deal with, I guess. Arcus is a problem. So, I don't know if it's something I want to side stuff for. I have no idea. But I've also learned that Falsadana is good, but Falsadana in defense is really good. And then, you know, only pop 1 dupe with the guys I said. Unless you're going for game, just pop 1 dupe. I had no reason to pop both of them. I didn't gain anything other than legitimately just a little bit of damage. I risked the Gores, I risked the Fader, and I think I lost ultimately. Not just because of that, but because a combination. You know, the Ben's plays, they just kept piling up. And I didn't want to watch these replays because it felt so bad to just lose to this card destruction off of all cards. But you gotta watch your replays, you gotta learn from them. And I'm gaining a lot of insight from cards I like, cards I don't like. You know, for example, I'm trying the Falsadinas, I'm liking it. I'm trying the Crows, I'm liking them in tandem with the Ready Aries. But maybe I need to adjust my monsters a little bit because as we just saw, like that, I'm on 18 monsters right now, but I'm just hard drawing Gladiator Beast really bad. You see, I like the Torrent. I really like the Torrent. Maybe Compulse could be something else, and I need to work on my siding. So that's why it's important to go through and watch your replays. But, you know, if you guys stayed this long, thanks for watching. Hopefully enjoyed something that was a little bit better than the last video. Again, even on just my face cam, my computer is going on 7 years old. So it's just a laptop. It's some kind of laptop. It struggles with a lot of stuff, but CPU usage is at 57%. Hopefully the mic isn't too messed up, but, you know, thank you guys for watching, and I'll try to keep putting out some Gladiator Beast content. I am probably going to play Glads at Nats. I don't really want to release my list. I don't think it really matters, to be honest. But I need to work on some techs. I want to make a Gladiator Beast channel the way there are dedicated like frog channels and stuff like that. I think Gladiator Beast can do. I think Gladiator Beast has a lot of really good matchups, but it has just a lot of weaknesses too that other decks do not have to deal with. Anyways, that's enough for this video. You guys have a wonderful day, and stay glad.